would like to complete your ensemble?
Oh, no. There's something else of yours that I want.
Oh, really? What's that?
Your ass!
The Cannonball Run is known for its wild stunts, star-studded cast, and over-the-top humor, but behind the scenes, it was even crazier. From real-life protests to on-set chaos and hidden cameos, the movie was packed with surprises. Here are the little-known facts and behind-the-scenes stories that even the biggest fans may have missed. Let's get it on, Hollywood Madness. Let's talk about number 1. You might think this was just Hollywood madness, but the truth is even crazier. The Cannonball Run wasn't just some wild Hollywood comedy filled with flashy cars and over-the-top stunts. It was based on a real event, one that was illegal, dangerous, and completely outrageous. In 1971, Brock Yates, a seasoned automotive journalist, teamed up with legendary race car driver Dan Gurney for a cross-country stunt that would go down in underground history. Their mission? Drive from New York to California as fast as humanly possible. Not for fame. Not for money. But as a direct protest against the national speed limit. At the time, the U.S. government had tightened the leash on how fast anyone could legally drive, citing safety and fuel efficiency. Yates and Gurney didn't buy it. They believed that skilled, experienced drivers could handle high speeds safely. So, to prove their point, they got in a car and tore across the country. They made the trip from coast to coast in just under 36 hours, no official permission, no rules, and definitely no concern for the highway patrol. Secret races, but what started as a stunt quickly became something more. Their run ignited a spark. Word spread. And soon, other drivers wanted in. Over the next few years, 5 more Cannonball-style races unfolded in secret. These weren't small-time joyrides. These were full-blown, no-holds-barred dashes across the country. Drivers from all over the United States jumped at the chance to defy the system. Some showed up with exotic Ferraris and souped-up muscle cars, ready to test the limits of their engines, and the law. Others came in disguise, using tricks and fake credentials to avoid getting caught. One team famously rolled up in a real ambulance, complete with sirens, flashing lights, and forged medical paperwork. They weren't just pretending. They fully committed to the role, going as far as wearing medical uniforms to convince authorities that they were on an emergency run. And it worked. Police let them pass, totally unaware they were helping someone win an illegal race. These races had no organization, no governing body, and definitely no safety guarantees. It was pure chaos, driven by adrenaline and rebellion. There were no rules, only the unspoken challenge: get there first, whatever it takes. People loved it for that exact reason. It was fast. It was reckless. It was everything the legal system hated and every speed junkie dreamed of. Brock Yates. Moving on to number 2, speaking of the real creator, he actually snuck into his own movie. Most fans don't realize it, but Brock Yates actually appears in the Cannonball Run movie. He plays one of the race officials, just a small background role. But here's the fun part, he wasn't really acting. In real life, he was the man behind the entire Cannonball idea. He created it, organized it, and even drove in the first race. Yates was a writer for Car and Driver magazine and a huge fan of fast cars and open roads. When the government set a strict national speed limit, he thought it was nonsense. So instead of writing angry articles, he made a plan. That plan became the Cannonball Baker's Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash. Yes, that's the full name. He wanted to show that skilled drivers could handle high speeds safely across long distances. He didn't just write about it, he did it. And then, years later, when Hollywood made a movie based on the race, Yates was right there on set, playing the same role he had in real life. Beat-up ambulance. Let's talk about number 3, that beat-up ambulance wasn't just a prop either. That strange-looking Dodge ambulance in the Cannonball Run wasn't just a movie prop. It was the exact same vehicle Brock Yates used in the real 1979 Cannonball race. Yates and director Hal Needham entered the race that year with a wild plan. They bought an actual working ambulance and used it to trick police officers into thinking they were on emergency medical business. They even hired a fake doctor and had a patient in the back. It was one of the cleverest disguises in the history of the race. And it worked, most of the time. But things didn't go smoothly. Near Palm Springs, during the actual race, the ambulance caught fire. It overheated under the desert sun and nearly ended their run. Still, the team pushed through and made it to the finish. When the movie was being made, they didn't just find a look-alike vehicle, they used the exact same Dodge ambulance from the real race. So when you see Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise racing across the country in that beat-up van, remember it had already done the job in real life. The twist. Moving on to number 4, here's the twist that'll blow your mind about the star himself. Burt Reynolds was the face of the Cannonball Run, but he didn't exactly love being part of it. In fact, he later called it one of the worst decisions of his career. So why did he even do it? Simple, his friend Hal Needham asked him to. Needham, the director of the movie, had worked with Reynolds before on other action comedies like Smokey and the Bandit. They had a strong friendship and trusted each other. So when Hal pitched the idea of a wild cross-country race filled with jokes and chaos, Reynolds agreed without much hesitation. But once filming started, Reynolds quickly realized the movie wasn't what he expected. He didn't like the script and thought the whole thing was too silly. In interviews, he admitted he only took the role for the paycheck and to help out a friend. The twist? Audiences loved it. The Cannonball Run became a box office hit and remains a fan favorite to this day. Reynolds may have hated the film, but it still helped cement his image as the cool, charming daredevil. Sometimes, the roles actors regret the most end up being the ones fans never forget. Let's dive into number 5. The confusion didn't stop with Reynolds. One actress had no clue what she'd signed up for. Farah Fawcett thought she was filming a serious action romance. She read the script, saw the fast cars and love angle, and believed it was a dramatic road movie. No one told her it was supposed to be funny. Then things got strange. Dean Martin showed up on set wearing a priest outfit. He was clearly drunk and laughing through his lines. Sammy Davis Jr. was also dressed as a priest, cracking jokes between takes. Farah started to wonder what kind of movie this really was. She kept going, still thinking the tone would be serious. She didn't figure it out until the movie premiere. Sitting in the theater, she watched the finished film for the first time. The crowd was laughing, the scenes were full of chaos, and the mood was nothing like she expected. That's when it finally hit her, it was a full comedy. Looking back, her confusion actually made her performance better. She played it straight, which made the comedy around her even funnier. Even though she had no idea what kind of movie Sammy Davis Jr. was in, Farah still became one of the most memorable parts of it. Sometimes being lost works out just fine. Forever. Stunt woman Heidi Von Beltz was riding in an Aston Martin during a high-speed scene. The car had mechanical problems, but the stunt went ahead anyway. There were no proper seatbelts installed. When the car crashed into a van, Heidi was thrown forward and suffered a broken neck. The accident left her paralyzed for life. At just 24 years old, Heidi's career and future were destroyed. The crash shocked everyone in the industry. It revealed just how little attention was given to safety on stunt sets at the time. Many stunt vehicles didn't even have basic protections. After the accident, Hollywood finally started to take safety more seriously. One major change came quickly: seatbelts became mandatory in all stunt vehicles. Studios also began doing more safety checks and listening to stunt coordinators' warnings. Heidi's tragic accident forced the industry to protect its performers better. While the Cannonball Run was meant to be a fun and wild movie, this behind-the-scenes moment left a permanent mark. Heidi's story became a turning point, and her pain led to life-saving changes in Hollywood. Moving to number 10, Hollywood's treatment of Jackie Chan, its future superstar, was pretty awful. Jackie Chan made his American film debut in the Cannonball Run, but it didn't go the way he expected. He played a high-tech racer in a Japanese car, showing off his signature martial arts moves. But when the film was edited, many of his best action scenes were cut. The reason? They were considered too intense for a light comedy. Instead of letting Jackie shine, the film watered down what made him special. But the worst part came during the credits. Jackie, a proud Chinese actor, was listed as Japanese. It wasn't just a simple mistake, it showed how little care Hollywood gave to Asian representation at the time. Jackie was frustrated, but he didn't walk away. He saw it as motivation. The experience pushed him to take control of his career. He decided to break into Hollywood on his own terms, with films that let him blend action and comedy his way. Years later, movies like Rumble in the Bronx and Rush Hour turned him into a global star. The Cannonball Run didn't treat him right, but it gave him the push he needed. That miscredit ended up being the start of something much bigger. Let's dive into number 11. You'd never guess chaos behind the scenes. How little planning went into this movie. The Cannonball Run may look like a wild but carefully planned comedy, but behind the scenes, it was chaos. The script was barely there. Scenes were often written or changed just minutes before shooting. Writers would scribble new lines in the parking lot, hand them to the actors, and start rolling. Farah Fawcett later admitted she never saw a full script. She was given pages here and there, sometimes not even knowing what the next scene was about. This loose style created confusion, but also gave the movie its fast and unpredictable energy. Director Hal Needham liked to work with instinct. He let the actors improvise, go off script, and have fun with their characters. With a cast full of comedians and big personalities, this approach led to plenty of hilarious moments, but also plenty of chaos. The movie feels like a party on wheels, and that's exactly what it was. While most films follow a strict shooting plan, the Cannonball Run relied on quick thinking, last-minute changes, and pure luck. It shouldn't have worked, but somehow it did. The lack of a solid script could have ruined it.